Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Redirect Esports stream. You saw us earlier today, myself and Money, to cover some OCE action at the very top of the region. Well, we've shifted our focus a little bit more west for some sub-Saharan Africa. It's the same kind of caliber, the very top that a region has to offer. To help take myself and Money through that, it is main streamcaster alongside me, Borky.
Hello everybody, it's such a privilege to be joining you guys here, especially for the Meatballs. I mean, we got the little graphic. I mean, we say meat, you say balls. What more could you ask for that? But when we come down to it, I mean, you have Guns and Tekos here. These are, I mean, the SSA representatives for both majors and worlds. Unfortunately, no qualification for worlds and 2v2 in SSA, but they're still bragging rights to bring her along.
Well, we got Swiss Stage as well last weekend. Unfortunately, we could not have a stream for that period. But Money, you're the resident expert over here for Sub-Saharan Africa. So would you like to talk us through this bracket?
To be honest, first and foremost, I had to change the vibes because if you weren't here for the OCE stream, the first thing I did was just shout really loudly. So I wanted to go really quiet for the start of this one, just to change up the vibes. That was the concept there. But
you're an evil man.
No,
okay.
There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, you've thrown to me to look through this when this is my first SSA stream. I am aware of the plays. I am a fan. I tune in every once in a while, but you know, it's a bit rude to throw it to me.
That's my bad. That's my bad. I can pick it up.
No, real quick. I mean, just to analyze this. I mean, I'm seeing the Meatballs qualified 3-0, and that's really all I needed to see. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's take a look at the GSL.
Sounds good to me. Well, that is a 9-0 bracket to qualify with a 5 BU score. That grants them the top seeding. All 3 teams they played made it to the main event. Well, starting off of this side is new organization heading into SSA, SCR Esports, as seen over in RSC EU. Now dipping their toes in some of the Sub-Saharan Africa action. They did really well in their group, actually topping it. So they will be playing Bro Code. We've also got Black and White versus Good Kittens, which I definitely enjoy as a name. Some more names I enjoyed is the return of the Mzansi Ballers playing alongside White Monster on that opposite end. That is another interesting one. But then Borky, this is an organization we are very familiar with, especially on the mainstreams now. It's Synthesis playing Jason Fan Club.
Oh yeah, Synthesis, content org through and through, made their debut into RLCS this season, and I don't think they're going anywhere. Numerous top 8s, especially that Daps and Declan duo. They've been around the block for quite some time, and I don't think that duo ship is going to break up. I'd like to see how they do, but we'll transition over. Here's our graphic for the GSL stage group A, the Meatballs. That's who we're here for. Tekos and Guns. They'll be taking on Carmine Clope early on to start the day, and eventually we'll be playing either Lewin Modric or White Rabbit Gaming. Sir, because we have some bad blood with White Rabbit Gaming, so I'm sure we'll probably see them later. But looking a little further down the bracket, we do have BTF Esports made their debut in Split 6, and they also picked up Sweaty here to represent them. So keep an eye on BTF. That's going to be a team to be reckoned with. And then closing out the bottom, we have Def Cloud, another well-known org in SSA versus BP.
There's a couple of names, I'm going to be honest, that I recognize through all of these, but in particular, I just have to say that the shortened version of Lewandowski and Modric is interesting, isn't it? I mean, Lewin Modric, I'm not sure how Modric has come off so much better with that than Lewandowski has, but hey, it is what it is now. I'm looking forward to, I'm calling it now. That's the team that we're going to be calling later, so I'm looking forward to calling them Lewin Mod later on this I was going to say afternoon, this evening for me, but is it afternoon for... what time zone is it for everyone? I need to find out.
I mean, it's still morning for me. For myself, Borky's over in NA, so we've actually got representatives from all across the globe here to give us some SSA action. And yeah, that Lewandowski and Modric team, I think you're correct. Devour and Shudo, I have them going through into that upper finals, but it is going to be a struggle with White Rabbit Gaming facing against him. That would actually be a rematch for the Meatballs should both of these teams advance. However, we've still got the first series to play, ladies and gentlemen, because Rocket League isn't decided on paper, it's decided on the pitch. One of my favorite phrases over here, casting, and one of my favorite teams to see as well. Certainly the favorite in this tournament, Tekos and Guns, taking on that import player, the best import player for sure that SSA has to offer, with one of the greatest, can we even call him a young talent anymore? He definitely isn't by age, but his experience has grown so much during this season. If you want to talk about young and upcoming, Borky, you look at Yabu and Flaps.
Oh, young and upcoming, and that's exactly what the Reunion region has been this entire RLCS season. I mean, we know how dominated that SSA has been from South Africa. Of course, we know the European domination from the little bit of the import stint we had, but Reunion, they have come through and they have made sure that they are well known within the region. Yabu and Flaps, these are two players to keep an eye out for, and they're not going to make it easy here for Tekos and Guns.
I'm kind of lost. I'm going to be honest in terms of these names. I'm not too sure across the field. I haven't seen these names before, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they perform. I heard some hype, so I'm keen to see what they get up to in this one. Not disrespecting, just needing to learn.
Well, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, you are all in for a sweep. Whether you are familiar with Sub-Saharan Africa or not, I will guarantee that you will see the best 2v2 team the region has to offer. Reunion A's new to the scene. They will stay for a while.
When it all comes down to the introduction of the 2v2 to RLCS, I mean, Reunion, they're trying to make their place well known here, but of course they have to run against SSA's finest, Tekos and Guns, looking to claim the title of the first RLCS 2v2 champions. But, I mean, there's a lot of strong competition that is going to be facing them down across the bracket. GSL is just the first step of the road.
Two players that are so well decorated in SSA this season, across previous seasons perhaps as well. And it's time to get underway in the 2v2 action. It is fantastic to bring this action across all of our streams, which is fantastic first and foremost, but also brought to you with Redirect in company. Shout out Hazaprod as well. I don't think we've mentioned him so far. So good to get him an early shout out as we get into the action. Early play for Guns off the back wall, and it's a good touch-up as Flaps got that one away.
Of course, it's going to be a ping disadvantage for Tekos in the SSA server, still playing from home over in Spain. However, I was having a little bit of a think about the import players playing in twos. Of course, there is going to be that little bit of lag. Spain is one of the more southern regions in EU. I feel like the playlist at hand is really going to favor the Europeans who get such good practice against the best twos players in the world. Here he is already showing himself for today. It's going to be the first goal for the Spaniards.
That's just a little bit of an overcommit there for Carmine Cloak. You can see both Flaps and Yabu just trying to pressure Guns there, but Tekos, as you were mentioning, Pegasus, has that experience, has that exposure to the EU region. And I mean, that positioning from him is just perfect. All he has to do is drive straight and put it on net.
It is a good point. Guns gets a reset, might be able to get back to it, but obviously with that slight debuff in terms of the ping difference. So Pegasus and I experiencing somewhat of a ping difference earlier this evening with a couple of threes ranked sessions, which doesn't quite work when you've got one in EU and one in OCE, but we know something a little about that. But I feel like we've kind of ignored it. How good is this Carmine Cloak name? I mean, I'm a fan of this name. What are you thinking?
I'm a fan. I don't think they'll quite be as good as the team. Of course, they are from the Union Islands. They are a territory of France, so perhaps inspired by those mainland Frenchmen.
I mean, the French buff does extend to Reunion. We've seen that before, especially within Open 6. We had Tishao, a Reunion player, making it into the grand final. So that skill is still around. We know it is there, but right now, Carmine Cloak need to find their way out of defense. They're being absolutely pelted on net. Tekos full tank of boost, slows things down, tries to take it for himself towards net, bumped off the play. Flaps gets the easy clearance to the corner.
Yeah, they've struggled to get out of their defensive half so far, Carmine Cloak. Guns looks to pen them back again. Tekos up for the This one with low boost still manages to get a reset, taking it low underneath with the 50 flaps. Forces it to the corner.
Low boost and bumped as well. It's going to be a hard recovery. Still manages to get a strong touch off that back wall, but Yab, as that second man with 0 boost, is forced to make the defense, but Guns with full individual efforts and smell that blood in the water, takes it high, gets the reset, and the pop is going to be enough to get over the low boost defender.
That's the brilliance that Guns has provided since he entered the SSA region. He has that mechanical ability. He can take it coast to coast if he wants to. He just never really could find the right supporting elements, and with the introduction of Tekos to the team and a mentor and some of the interviews we've had with him on Just SSAing, we know that it's going to just continue to elevate his style, bring levels to this gameplay. That's on full display right now, though. He has to be careful because Yabu's looking for the double, and a great way to put a hand up to clear out that backboard.
Carmine Clope trying to force a couple of issues at the moment. The Meatballs dealing with the danger as things stand. Yabu out wide. Good control. Now gets a chance to just dribble out the defense, but Tekos back with the demo. And Guns to the corner where Tekos had boost to work with. Tries to move that one into the midfield swiftly. That was good from Flaps as Guns might go for a bit of a psycho play. Just sets himself up into his defensive half, still with low boost. Looking for the 50. Flaps did well. I'll be able to get that one across the goal line. Tekos still in amongst it. Is Carmine Clope starting to force the issue. They get one back, and they're back within one.
And it was quite some time into this game that we saw the first real impactful offensive chance from Carmine Clope. It's a bit of an overcommit heading into that corner, but you have to make those risks when you're playing against Guns and Tekos. And you better make sure you don't make that mistake straight afterwards, because they'll punish you every single time. But punishment has all been against the Meatballs.
And isn't this just the beauty of 2v2? Tekos didn't decide to cheat for that play, and as a result, it allows a wide opening kickoff there for Flaps to capitalize on. And in a blink of an eye, we're 2-2, gentlemen.
Yeah, it has turned around very quickly. There's not too long left in this game either. Game 1 feels as though it's perhaps a bit closer than we were expecting. Tekos will have to make that challenge. Guns now in support. Both on the Meatball side have plenty of boost to play with. As Guns out wide, tries to cut this one central. Might be able to get back to it. Tekos is towards the top of the 18-yard box and has to back out. They've probably overcommitted here. They have overcommitted here. Yabu takes the lead for Carmine Clope.
And well, Carmine Clope, they've been somewhat of Swiss warriors throughout the season, especially Yab, who has flip-flops between teams during the second split. Did earn himself one top 16 during Open 4, but ever since hasn't returned to that same glory. However, here in the 2v2 playlist, we are seeing some immediate impact against what we believe to be the very top that SSA has to offer. Tekos still wants to prove that title. Flaps and Yab, though, double up in that corner, managed to get a counter-attack flowing. It looks like an open net, but Guns cuts in the nick of time. The second shot goes over, and Guns finds safety.
Well, Guns trying to get that one across there to Tekos. A quick cut from Flaps. Slows this down. Guns is very awkward. Just managed to recover there, and Tekos, can he get behind this one? I don't think he will be able to. Good denial there from Yabu on the backboard, but Guns well positioned. Yabu, I think, was left here in net asking a couple questions, or maybe it was Flaps on just what can they do.
And you can't really say too much about that play. I mean, the pressure put instantaneously back the way of Carmine Clope there. Made it difficult. Yabu with the first touch, but it was straight into the path of the oncoming attacker, the Meatballs. We expect them to get up and make these challenges a lot more consistently than they potentially have in Game 1. They're starting to do it there as they look to shift the tide back in their favor. Tekos looking for the bump, couldn't quite find it. It would have been phenomenal, but 10 seconds remaining. It might be overtime in Game 1.
Oh, ball is high, though, and there is potential for that goal on 0 seconds. OT is not forced quite yet. Yab's got a tough angle to find. A backboard read as well will be required, but this one finds the floors. 7 will be heaven in the opener.
Golden goal here in the first game of the GSL stage. Yabu gets a nice touch there, puts this one in front of net. You can see Flaps wasn't ready for it, a little too far back here, so Yabu instead is just going to be a nuisance. Make sure the possession tries to stay and linger in this blue side of the pitch as long as possible. Guns, he's not going to be able to get a touch off that sidewall there, and instead it prolongs to stay here for Carmine Clope.
Oh, I'm not liking the decision-making right now from really either team, to be honest with you. It has been capitalized upon, but Carmine Klopp with a couple of commits there that could have been really dangerous if the Meatballs were more in form. Tekos, that's a nice flip reset out towards the width here. Haslo boost, tries to take a 50. Look to set up Guns on the follow-up, but it didn't really work out for them as the orange side break free. Guns takes this one up high towards the ceiling, looks to fake low underneath, still with the ball here. Guns tries to find the bump, and Yab just avoids it.
And Tekos needs to cut rotation quick. Guns is on that opposite side all alone. Had to throw themselves in the action after the 50-50. The Swidle read just finds a center, but orange cars are already prepared to collect. Tekos knocks high, 0 boost. Is going to have to let Guns overlap here on the left. Yab might get a beat. It is going to be the first game win. And it's going to go against the Meatballs. Carmine Klopp get it started for the Reunion Islands.
And what a shocking turn of events here for the opener. The Meatballs, the team that has represented SSA every step of the way, has won 5 out of the 6 3v3 events. And to start the day, it's one of their first maps that they're going to drop. It is the first game that they're going to drop out of the entirety of this event.
I did see the sorry from Guns after that goal went in as well. Potentially the Meatballs apologizing to Stream for whatever that game 1 performance was. I mean, it wasn't necessarily what we were hyping up for. There was a couple of decent plays from them. I mean, it certainly started off in style for the Meatballs, but it certainly didn't end in that fashion. And I don't know if it was potentially us not giving enough respect to Carmine Klopp, but it potentially was also the Meatballs not giving enough respect to them.
This is a team that hasn't yet beaten a top 16 caliber roster in this 2v2 stage. They've gotten close on a few occasions. They took Lewandowski and Modric to game 5, and they got the round 5 losers donkers as well to that position. But the 3 teams that they beat did not make it to this stage of the competition. If Carmine Klopp are able to find some stride in the first series of the day against the first seed overall in the region, and I'm not just talking from the Swiss stage, I'm talking about before that, I'm talking about 3v3 performances as well, this would be an unbelievable turn of form for this team that just about scraped their way into this stage of a competition.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what you might be able to look at here for Carmine Klopp. You're kind of just playing for the fun of it. When you face off against a team like the Meatballs, you know what kind of caliber of players they are. And you can't really let that name recognition get to your head. A big miss there from Tekos. That could have been the first here in game number 2, and instead Carmine Klopp get away with murder.
Spoke about it previously, the mechanical ability on Forbidden Temple. I mean, it must carry over region to region, because look at this from Tekos. Gets the reset off the ceiling, able to drop that one in. No save coming through, and the Meatballs have a lead.
And I like the simplicity there of the empty jump as well, keeping himself available just in case that save comes out. He has the 50-50 strong enough to at least keep it in the area, but it could all be for nothing. It's a good kickoff here for Carmine Klopp. There's an open pass for Yab, but the power just isn't there to reach. Guns is demoed off a pitch. Tekos is still available! And that will go down as an own goal.
Ooh. I mean, I don't know if you're able to get a touch good enough to save that one. It was going in regardless, but Flaps doing all he can, unfortunately, will go against him. But for Tekos, he's definitely showing that game 1 might have been a little bit of a fluke, but we've been here before. We've been up 2, and we know how fast things can shift in 2v2.
Well, we spent 2 series earlier in OCE Pegasus, and we didn't see an own goal. We've spent 2 games in SSA, and we've seen one. Potentially a changing of tides in terms of what region scores those. I was talking to Greybeard in Paris, and he said, yeah, we don't really score our own goals. You know, we might not be quite there in terms of some mechanical ability at times, but we don't score our own goals. And now I'm going to have a word with them, because I've just seen otherwise.
Actually, thinking about it, I somewhat agree with Greybeard there. You really don't see it very often. By the way, there was a complete open net miss there from Flaps, who was getting a little bit too cute with the ball, but perhaps having an OCE caster over here on the desk is just
don't blame me.
Bad luck charm you need. Do you have any statement to that, Money?
I don't know why I'm being blamed. No, I don't know why I'm being blamed for this. That we watched OCE and they didn't score an own goal, so I don't know how this is at any point being blamed on me.
I mean, you might have been saving it for SSA if you didn't get one in the OCE broadcast. You know, just got to bring it over here. But it relatively, in regards to Graybeard's conversation, we don't have a significant way we typically lose a game, like an own goal. We just kind of find a creative way to lose.
This could be one of them.
There it is. Okay.
And
So own goals. Talk to me about them.
is this a cast a curse or a blessing? I mean, what you described unfolded in front of us, but it certainly is not going to be in the favour of the Teamstream. Carmine Cloak get there first off this second game, but you could consider that potentially equaling out the debts, Monique?
It feels as though it's potentially... I don't know what's happening. It's a 3-1 game. I mean, I'm really confused what's going on here at the moment. This game has been so back and forth in terms of players just taking over the lobby and also scoring own goals. What? Explain to me. What is this the normal situations over here in SSA, Borky?
Honestly, no. I'm not sure what kind of...
No, but it's not.
I don't even know what Guns is doing either. I think he's trying to invent a new mechanic here for all of us. But this is... I guess 2v2 is just bringing out the most of us.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're watching, I mean, this is 2/3 of 5 fears. This has been the org that has all of the quality in the region, but a 6 out of 6 of LAN representatives for Sub-Saharan Africa. They're going to be the world's representatives as well in just a few months' time. And the best part of their game has been, you know, the lack of mistakes while still having that game-changing aspect of them with the mechanics. Definitely has not been the best advertisement in this first series, it must be said. However, maybe nervous to have money here for the first time in quite some time.
It might be that as a factor, but you also mentioned, of course, previously Tekos obviously playing from EU, so gets the benefit of playing on those servers, but also at the same time, Guns, I mean, was over in Paris. Recent Paris buff, I guess, coming back from EU.
Yes.
We see that a lot in minor regions where potentially, or emergent regions, whatever you want to call it. But you see that a lot in terms of, you know, going over, getting that little buff momentarily and potentially dropping back off after a few weeks, but it's still in that territory where potentially the practice in Paris could still be coming into effect at the moment. That's a good save from Yab, though.
Yeah, that's definitely a very good talking point, and that's always been a conversation for SSA on whether or not this international LAN experience is going to translate on the pitch and be able to work things out. Right now, a little bit of an argument there in the air between Guns and Tekos. Thankfully for them, it doesn't go against them, and Guns is just going to score that.
That's a bit more like it. That's what we want to show the rest of the world. That is why we want to promote world spots for the minor or the emerging regions as well. It's 4-1 for the Meatballs. But on that point of experience, especially when you have that time in other regions, I implore everyone during the break to go look at Guns' RL tracker. You can see clearly when he goes to the majors because he can find games past the 2200 level and he jumps up 200 MMR in one day. It is unbelievable. I am dead serious. You will see the jumps in his MMR on his tracker during the break.
It didn't feel as though we could see that difference in Game 1. But in Game 2, it's definitely telling the story as Tekos sent that one wide of the mark. But you can see off the mechanical display as well in Game 2 in particular. I spoke about Forbidden Temple being that map where you start to see mechanical plays come through. It's been exactly that in this series. It is a cross-region kind of situation. The Meatballs tie us up in the series. It was an awkward Game 1, but it was a much improved Game 2.
Yeah, a little bit of a hiccup there to start off the day, but kind of resuming what we would expect here from the Meatballs. You can see a pair of goals for both Guns and Tekos, both of them putting in the heavy lifting. And one thing I want to point out here is normally with that 5 Fears playstyle, we see a lot of demo heavy plays, and they only recorded 2 in this game. I'm not sure if they recorded a similar amount in Game 1, but it's going to be something that I'm keeping a close eye on is to see if Snowy is that main presence that gets the majority of the demos in those games, or if Guns and Techos are just trying to approach this a bit different.
It's interesting as well because historically 5 Fears have not been slow starters. There have been a few teams at the top of regions in different points that we've definitely called worthy of that title. I think about Team Vitality a few years back. I think of, frankly, the Pioneers during a majority of this season. They've definitely looked beatable in early stages of the GSL, and then they find an unstoppable momentum. 5 Fears, and these two players specifically, that has never been the case. And as it has seeped into the game here in the 2v2 playlist, it appears to have only lasted those first 5 minutes of regulation, because now they are flying.
And you're talking about 5 Fears, all I care about is the Meatballs. I'm going to be completely honest with you, and Techos has got us underway here. The first one on the board. 5 seconds in, didn't take too long. I think they're continuing on as they left off in game 2.
We say meat, you say balls. It's going to be a continuous trend here all day. Guns, big demo there, gets control of the ball, tries to stall this one out towards Ned. Will be bumped off for his efforts, but it allows Techos to get around field, gets another bump, and there's the second for Guns.
It's a local man for the Meatballs. It's the new kid on the block. Took some time to settle with some teammates, but has definitely found some comfort alongside the Spaniard. 3v3 to 2v2, this skill's eternal.
It hasn't taken too long to re-establish that dominance we saw in the previous map. Techos sends that one out towards Guns. It's not going to be a save, is it? No, it's not. Guns makes it 3, and it's starting to feel as though things are getting out of hand here for Carmine Clope.
Oh, what a pass that was from Techos as well. And you can kind of feel maybe some of those pre-game jitters that we had affecting us in game 1 are starting to subside. As you know, this is what we were expecting here from the Meatballs. We were expecting a strong performance, a dominant performance. I mean, Guns is now getting more physical. Maybe they heard me a little bit there during the intermission of the games, but this is exactly what I was hoping to see, and as Guns now takes us coast to coast, you'll have to be intercepted by Flaps, but Techos there to clean up and finish the job.
This is an excellent drag to get us started from Guns. Takes so much space up the pitch, forces Flaps to make that touch, and that is perfect prime EU 2v2 positioning from Techos, bleeding its way into SSA. It's why he's the best player to play in the region this season, and it's why he is the player to watch at the 2v2.
Do me a favor and look at that clock, by the way. Hasn't even been 1 minute played. We're about to reach that mark, but it feels as though it's just all been spent in this territory. It feels like we've been here for a few minutes, the way that Carmine Clope haven't been able to get out of half. Oh, we've only seen a minute and, well, 10 seconds now. It's just been so dominant from the Meatballs. They've definitely woken up after that lazy start, potentially, you could call it, in game 1. Nice play from Techos towards the back wall, but it feels as though they've really come alive.
Yeah, typically in SSA we talk about playing a game of keep away, but that doesn't come into the later stages. We're playing keep away. We're not even halfway through this one. Guns, he's just going to add a 5th, because why not?
We've had lazy, we've had nerves described for that first game performance. I'm going to call it a lack of concentration, or perhaps a lack of respect for their opponents. They were making challenges that they simply haven't done since the second half of that second game, where they found some form again. Carmine Clope definitely snapped this team into gear, and that's exactly what you want in the first series of the day, especially when you're guaranteed that harder matchup in the second series. You're playing one of Leva and Modric, or of course the likes of White Rabbit Gaming, and you do want these two firing at all cylinders, and Carmine Clope have given them exactly that. Gunzo on the reverse makes it 6 in style.
Oh, it is beautiful. The playoff from Techos, and then Guns just gets a little bit fancy with it. Gets the tap over the top, 6-0, and it's still only been 2 minutes played. I mean, this has been complete dominance. Carmine Clope cannot find an answer. We spoke about those there's a wide variety of words to describe that game 1. But it just feels as though they have warmed up, and it's another one. Techos from distance makes it 7.
Well, you guys started in OC, you made it to SSA. I hope you have your bags packed because we could be heading towards Sam. But, I mean, the way that the Meatballs are playing right now, I think they're just going to continue to run this up. I don't see an opening for Carmine Cloak to get back into this game. Yabu, what do you have in store for us? Gets it towards net, but only as far as Tekos.
Tempted fate there when Carmine Cloak are in possession. They still are, and there's a double commit as well from Tekos and Guns, but the ball clears to position. That's going to be hard to shoot from. Is that a pinch going all the way off the post? Flaps manages to maintain composure to make the first save. Stays grounded as well as their teammate goes flying away. The pinch not going to be on target as well. It's almost another team bump there as Guns almost stole the boost away from Tekos. Tekos is ready to use it now. Now there's an intercept. No, complete whiff, falling to Guns. And I'm starting to fear that maybe it's not going to be South America. Maybe it will be 8, 9, 10, maybe more. Hold on.
Every time you two talk about the scoreline,
I'm scared.
It seems as though you're tempting fate. Tekos trying to take the challenge. Not quite there. Yab on the counter-attack, potentially setting a chance up to take us to Brazil. No, not this time. It looks like it might be 8 the other way. It happened again. What are they listening to our casting? It feels like they very well might be. Tekos makes it 8. And Barcelona, anyone?
Yeah, I mean... We could be heading over to Barca. It's possible. I really don't know if... I mean, just the way that Meatballs are playing right now, I don't see that they're going to concede 2. Maybe 1 off of a kickoff. If we're lucky, maybe a pair. I mean, Tekos is from Spain. He's playing there right now, so maybe he's just trying to make sure that EU is represented still.
Yeah, always going to be that bit of Barcelona. Really hope that they're not a Madrid fan now that I mentioned that. That's a double commit, though, coming from the Meatballs. Tekos! I was about to say made that save, but this team so far, you know what? All 3 of us need to somewhat revolt because they have gone out their way every single game so far to undermine us as much as possible, and they almost got me again.
Well, I'm just looking at the amount of own goals going in, and I am
goodness.
just wondering...
Gosh.
Just,
I'm sweating.
Why have I been lied to? Everywhere I look, someone's putting the ball in their own net. And I'm just not too sure if I buy into this whole, we don't score own goals. That's almost an insane astral pinch from Yabu, but not quite.
Well, typically we don't score own goals, but I'll argue for game number 3, it's a narrative of trying to get Tekos back to Spain and Barcelona. Maybe that's what we're trying to work at here, but... You know what? I honestly just have to say you might be... It's another own goal! What is happening? What is happening?
Wait, but look at this shot coming from Yab. Drops down towards him. He's got 0 boost, but it just hits the corner of his car. That is the most power generated possible from the position they find themselves in. So yes, it will be a trip to Barcelona, and it's going to be Tekos who falls victim for that second Cloak goal.
Look, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. That one was already on target. So, you know, is it really an own goal? I'm not too sure. But what I'm sure of is the fact that Carmine Cloak, seemingly, they've now woken up. We spoke about the Meatballs having a rough start, and needing to wake up, needing to find that energy, needing to find that focus. And Carmine Cloak, these 3 goals they've scored have looked very, very nice. They've looked as though their mechanics have been turned on, and they look as though they are not so scared of the opposition now, which could be danger signs heading to Game 4.
100%. I mean, all it takes sometimes is just getting that 1 goal. Whenever you're kept scoreless, and the Meatballs especially running up the scoreline, it's going to make it such a more daunting of a task, but... For right now, Carmine Cloak, they're building that confidence and momentum back up. This one finds its wave sailing across a little too high. Yabu was waiting for it. Waning seconds are just going to be killed off here between Tekos and Guns. But as we get a little bit of a 0-second drill, finally does touch ground. That is us heading on to match point. But I'm going to keep that fear in the back of my head, Moni.
The lack of forfeits when there's admins as well. Hold on, let's just appreciate that. 2 players on 4 figures here. Tekos on 1,011, Guns on 1,062, but unfortunately, the barrier for greatness for myself and Money has always and always will be 1100. So both players coming a little bit short to, getting that credit. It's not quite deserved yet. No. But I just want to point out, this game was lost from early. You can see it in the scoreline over here in the replays. It's 5 goals with 3 minutes still left there on the clock. But there's no mercy rule in Rocket League. There are no forfeits when there are admins either. And that actually benefited Carmine Clove. I'm actually very impressed with how they played the second half of that game. They actually tried to fight back, picked up those 3 goals, and you still got 3 goals in 2 minutes. That's usually enough to get yourself a win.
I do have an update as well. I don't know if this is very new news. It was 6 minutes ago. So it's a very slow news day, I suppose. Lewandowski and Modric were 2-0 up 6 minutes ago. But I'll see if we get any updates there anytime soon. But our opposition between Lewandowski and Modric and White Rabbit currently looks as though it's going the way of Lewandowski and Modric.
Well, I do have an update here for you. Lewandowski and Modric have just won Game 3 6-4. So that will be the opponent in the upper bracket semifinals. And I mean, it does look like the Meatballs are on par to be heading into the upper bracket to meet them.
It's a very similar formation for that roster, being, of course, an import player alongside a very talented South African in Devour. But it is Chudo who takes that import spot. A very high-ranked 2v2 player in EU. And he'll definitely have something to show off here in the SSA region as well. Not quite reaching the heights that I expected during the 3v3 period, but this definitely has to be his chance to shine.
Have we seen the preset? Guns is rocking.
Wait.
Can we get Guns Cam, please? Thank you very much. What do we, out of 10, what do we think this is?
It's a
the
car.
amount of goals they score. The more goals they score, the more points they'll get for my rating of that. Presets! What is this from Tekos? This is classy. This is what he's been doing over in Europe. He was doing this in APAC as well, but in SSA, he has really found his own. Doesn't get a flip reset the first time. Use it as a fade. The second one's a perfect pop into that left-hand side. That was pure ballet.
He just danced around the defenders there as Tekos looks to do it again. Finds the back wall, nothing more. Yab on the follow-up. Tries to break the midfield line, flaps towards the ceiling. Might be a chance to build something going forward. Carmine Cloak, they need to start finding answers moving forward. They won't do so there. Flaps forced all the way back into their own half. They don't want to be in this position. They don't want to have to drive through the midfield line where the Meatballs can wait for them because they've been so dominant in Game 3 and 4 now. On the drop down, Tekos does it again.
He is so precise and deadly. Look at this strike, Flaps. Big miss there, big mistake, buddy. You're getting punished all day when Tekos is on the other end of that ball. And just like that, the Meatballs find themselves up 3 here. And we saw a little bit of steam coming from Carmine Clope at the end of Game 3, but where is it at? Guns is pre-jumping off the ceiling! Almost connects! It is denied by Flaps.
It's a fantastic save, but he needs to find more on the counter. That touch will be enough to set up as a tough angle, but Tekos manages to get that read of a defense. He's not just an offensive talent. Every single area of the pitch is going to feel his impacts. Flaps hits it high, but it's already a wasted opportunity. Boost has been regained. Position is found. The Meatballs have escaped.
They have to score in these circumstances, Carmine Clope. They must score. Guns gets in the way. They need to find something. It has been too easy to defend their plays, but that time, the Meatballs double commit. They get all caught up, and there's an opportunity to find a 50 in Yabu with the massive chance. And, well, over half the game remaining, potentially able to find something here.
Ooh. We know how these kickoffs went. Apparently, nobody's going to go for it. Nobody's going to touch the ball. Full boost is assumed here, though, for Guns and Tekos, so it's an easy save at the end of things. This one served on a silver platter here now to Tekos. We'll take this 50 in the corner. Water falling down in front of net. Flaps gets the touch into the corner, but Guns patiently awaiting for this one. And that's something that we can see here for the Meatballs, is that these 50s are just so much better.
So strong. They found that efficiency now. The rotations are clean. The mechanics are precise. And the positioning is poised as well. This is back to the more invincible version of Guns and Tackles that we've gotten used to during the season. It is a Spanish against a Spaniard of a lone South African. Pulls off the save, gets it back to Tekos. He'll take it high and flip it all away. He is just excellence.
He's been unplayable in game 4. Everything he does turns to goal. Another one there. You're in goal, but you don't quite know what he's going to do next. It's too easy for the Meatballs, and well, I start to wonder what happened in that game 1 where it looks almost as though Carmine Klopp could go on in this series, and I think we were speaking about it. It's a musty over the top there. We're speaking about potentially, did we underestimate Carmine Klopp? Could they find this chance? Could they take their opportunity against some of the best, if well, the best in the region? And it felt as though it wasn't unlikely. Well, it certainly has been. Since game 2, the Meatballs have found an answer, and they have absolutely hammered it home.
Ooh, it really feels like Carmine Klopp just had a completely different approach in game number 1, just trying to do the best they could. They realized they took a game off of the Meatballs, and from there, maybe the pressure and the name recognition might have creeped in a little bit, or maybe it is just the Meatballs just picking up into another caliber of gameplay. Maybe they weren't respecting Carmine Klopp enough, I'm not sure, but it is 6-1 now here on the scoreline. Minute 30 left to play. And an upper bracket final waiting for the Meatballs.
And I don't know too much about these two players personally. However, they are certainly young to the scene. Oh my goodness, Tekos is a bit more experienced now after these past few years. But there are signs here for these two players to be a bit more of a consistent appearance over here in the top 16 stage and potentially further. They've got some foundational parts of their games to fix up to just keep that level of consistency that has been enough to halt the Meatballs at certain times. But as soon as you start to lose it, you're going to get punished and you're going to get Braziled again.
We've seen a spice of OCE, we've seen a spice of EU, we've seen a spice of SAM. In this one, it continues to provide a intercontinental kind of design to it. 7-2. Minute remaining. I mean, there might be something. A minute to go, 60 seconds. Can Carmine Klopp find something here? 5 minutes, 5 goals in a minute. I mean, it's possible. I've seen it happen before.
It is possible, but we have to realize we're playing the Meatballs. Apparently, nobody in game number 4 wants to go for kickoffs. I don't know what is happening. That is like the 4th time we've seen nobody touch the ball on kickoff for at least a solid 2 seconds. But it is what it is. They just want to prolong this game. Last game running here in our group of the GSL. So why not? Let's add a couple more goals. That's a nice mechy one for Yabu to get himself onto the board in the highlight reel. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I still just don't think it's possible.
No, surely not. 4 goals, 43 seconds. We need some of these kickoffs to go their way. They have got some creative. They've gone for some of the Spanishes. This one's going to be a fake towards the opposite side, but Flaps hasn't been given an easy setup. Guns was already waiting on the ceiling. This one hits the ground. Tekos is waiting, and that should have been the nail in the coffin. They mishit it the first time, but Guns makes sure that that nail is flat against the timber.
You guys need to be more optimistic about this Carmine Klopp side. I mean, there's still an opportunity for them. I'm not ruling them out in this one. There's a massive chance. Doesn't feel like that scoreline has done me any favors in this. But, I said 5 goals earlier. It's only 4 goals to turn it around now. I'm not doing any particular math here, by the way. It's just math about favoring me. So don't question that.
Okay.
Okay, well, yeah, let's just, okay, mate. It's still possible. It's only 5 goals now. So it's still a chance.
If one team could do it.
Yeah, if anybody can do it, maybe it's Carmine Klopp. 16 seconds. They do have to go for a kickoff here, though. We'll see if ball remains stagnant in the middle of the field after this one. Instead, we get a bot kickoff. That's great. I'd rather that instead of the ball just sitting there. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's been bothering me so much, but the beauty of 2v2 is we have 12 goals here in game number 4. Probably won't see that in 3v3. Make that 13.
Where was this the rest of the series? These are really intelligent flip preset plays. They're going high, they're faking it, taking it low. They've mixed it up with the wave dash. They've mixed it up with the straight flick off the bounce. This is what they needed. From game 2 onwards, they couldn't keep that on going. Now we reach a double-digit scoreline. It's over. It's impossible now. Not even Carmine Core are making this comeback. What on earth was that kickoff in the first place? That was some Tokyo Drift action, but this isn't Forza Horizon 6. This is Rocket League, and Meatballs sit at the very top of this region.
Well, you know, I was going to say last goal wins, but then Carmine Kloop didn't score the last goal, so that's very unfortunate. But what I am seeing is a ridiculous amount of points on Gun's scoreboard here. I mean, take a look at that. We're talking about 1,100 being needed. Have a look at that.
Oh my goodness, I've just got another crazy fact about this last game. If any of you follow the RLCS scoregami, this result matched a scoregami which was only discovered 2 weeks ago between Twisted Minds and NIP at the recent major. That was the first scoregami in 368 days. It could have been close to 14 days later should that match have not happened. And instead, we're going to have to settle for silver place here in the 2v2. If that even counts, it better, because it still has RLCS in the name.
Oh, most definitely. And I mean, what are the odds that 2v2 gives us a scoregami that was just discovered 2 weeks ago? If this was a little sooner, we would have had it ourselves. But that is 3-1 in the series. That is the Meatballs looking to advance to face off Lewandowski and Modric in the upper finals. That's going to be very exciting matchup here. Again, Devour, another young and upcoming player within the region that we're going to have to keep a close eye on. And we can take a look at some of the other results. BTF was able to make quick work of Oreo. And then, of course, we did have Def Cloud 3-1ing BP to make it into their upper finals. And then a quick look at the Group B. We can see SCR, the new org, able to get into the upper finals against Black and White. The Zanzi Ballers will be facing off the familiar Synthesis.
Seeing 3-0s and 3-1s across the board. No game 5s. Potentially upper finals can provide that for us in the next round. Maybe not for us, but maybe somewhere else we can see some game 5s. Because for me personally, I'm ready for bed. It's 1:40 a.m. and I'm as soon as the next series is done, because we are winning, 100% we are winning, I'm straight into bed. So that's all I'm cheering for right now, a 3-0. And if it goes, you know, a game lost, then I'm cheering for a 3-1. But no more than that. I will not accept a game 5 for us. And I also won't accept us losing.
Well, lucky for you, Moddy, we were actually the final matchup to wait for. So this is going to be a very short break before the upper finals over here in the GSL. Top 12 is guaranteed for the Meatballs, but today's aim is going to be top 6. The overall aim is going to be number 1 or bust for 2 of some of the best players that SSA has to offer, joining forces in the first ever 2v2 league over here in sub-Saharan Africa. You don't want to miss this action. This is going to be one for the history books. We'll see you after the break. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they wasted absolutely no time getting themselves to the upper finals. We thought we were all safe. We thought we could get a snack, some water, maybe empty our bladder every now and again. Not over here in SSA, rushing into what we hope to be the final series of the day. Bulky has got absolutely no idea what's going on. He's going to be very confused seeing his VMix, as you were, Monty. But you're here in the nick of time. It's the Meatballs versus not Carby Clip. No, there it is. Lewandowski and Modric.
I have gone to fill up my water bottle and I've come back and I can hear through my in-ears just shouting, "We're back! We're back!" Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
this has never happened before, by the way. I mean, the whole season doing SSA, you would have thought this would have happened once, especially in the pre-admin era. But no, the admin's also very happy to rush through some of these test lobbies when they can. Perhaps they're from OCE as well and want some shut-eye. I heard some noises there from a US man at the desk. Borky, are you here for the game? Are you back in time? Are you as shocked as we are?
I am shocked. I was filling up my water and I start hearing we're going live. So I sprinted through my house to get into this action. But hey, we're all here. We all made it. We've got some more Rocket League. Shout out to the admins, I guess, for being extra promptly and on time. And we'll see what happens as now Tekos tries to dribble us downfield. Guns is up there for the follow-up shot. Still sailing a bit high. And, well, we can at least say one thing's for certain. We're not seeing as much scoring into the early seconds of this series.
Well, things seemingly have, settled down now. We're all back together. We can all hold hands and be happy again. But that was a very scary few moments. Just hearing absolute chaos through the earphones. Not even in my room yet, and I could hear these guys just shouting. I went and filled my water as you did as well. Yet to have any of it since I got it, so that's fantastic. But I mean, what is the expectation against these guys? Obviously, we had a closer series than potentially expected in the previous. But what's the thoughts here? The save comes through. Well, it is definitely more intense than what we saw previously.
Oh, easily. If this was 3v3 and you're looking at Guns and Tekos, you never really expect them to struggle too hard in any given series. Five Fears was so far ahead of the rest of the competition, even when it came to those later opens where they started to have a bit of fights from the likes of course, BTF and to an extent rounds as well in that fifth open. Judo did not have the performance that I would say he necessarily wanted out of this season, but 2v2 is a completely different story. Like I said, I believe this heavily favors the import players that are here, and this could be a closer matchup, but the Meatballs still have that crown to keep on their heads, and well, Guns will be working hard to be that forefront player in South Africa. Now,
Pegasus, you had the privilege of being coached when you and Haza had your little bit of a 2v2 stint in Europe.
Yes.
We won't talk about exactly how that went, but one of the things that we heard from the coaching was kind of that circle rotation that you're going to want to see out of your teammates. That's been on display countless times here between Tekos and Guns, because you can see every time Tekos is getting physical, taking these 50s in play, Guns is already positioned around that center field, just waiting to capitalize on wherever that touch might pour out onto him.
Yeah, it's very simple roles in what is a more North American style of 2v2 that has grown in popularity across the entire world. The first man just tries to cause as much chaos as possible, which is very easy with these two players. It's easy with Chudo as well, whenever they find themselves on the board. And it's just that second man's job to buy their time, wait for that opportunity to present themselves, be prepared for any of those counter punches, and make sure they have the boost should that ball drop down towards them. And when you have really mechanically capable players on the pitch, that is even more the case. Tekos, though, will make it too. Sees a lack of a second man in this occasion, and Guns so well to isolate the position.
And you could see Judo diving to that one on that moment, and that caused some concerns for the defensive side of things. Obviously, it's getting to that point where, minute remaining, you want to start diving forward, you want to start forcing the issue. At the same time, you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable, which they've done both off the back of that goal and into the kickoff. They both sent forward with a low boost off the kickoff after the cheat, and while it's cost them a couple of overcommits on a couple of occasions, and they're instantly down by 3.
And this is just something that I want to point out here. I know we didn't really get too much time to really talk about these players, but Devour, this is a name that we're going to be seeing time and time again throughout the SSA region, and especially as 2v2 and the 1v1 comes up eventually, we're going to know his name and his presence as Shudo gets a nice little chip here from a pass off Devour. But Devour took to die for on Wednesday to Game 5 in a 1v1 show match.
Whoa. That is serious. That is your talent coming from Shudo. But, of course, Devour comes in here as a 15-year-old. And it's strange to an extent, Borky, because for the past 2 seasons, he's definitely been at the forefront of those conversations as one of those players that could sit at the very top of the region, especially when Guns was bouncing between rosters. We didn't really know who was going to be that breakout star first. Many people did favor Guns, but of course that loyalty was definitely put to question at times. But now that he's earned himself that spot on the top team, the answer seems awfully simple now. That's a fantastic save from Lewandowski and Modric, but Guns, aforementioned, is going to get that job done. Borky, now you can attest to how strong Guns has been.
I mean, Guns for me has been a player that's been on my bubble for such a long time within SSA. I mean, we've all known that he was mechanical. He had the ego to show for it at times. Oh my god, what is this?
What?
Hold on, I'm taking the words out of my mouth. Tekos!
So unnecessary.
It wasn't needed.
It was going in.
There wasn't a point to that. It's just rude. I like it, but I don't like it. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Because that was just absolutely unnecessary. It was... I mean, I'm sorry, but someone's going to have a word with these guys, because, don't do that again. That was too nasty for this broadcast.
Dare I say, that was a spicy meatball in that last play.
I was waiting for it. Somebody was going to do it. I was waiting for it. Thank you, Pig, for ripping off the Band-Aid.
Oh, good. Thank you guys for laughing as well.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't, by the way.
Anywho, stronger first game after they've given themselves a moment to just settle themselves into the series. It was Lewandowski and Modric who did well to equalize that game to get it started. And we didn't see too much escape out of that first half lead to any real serious attempts at net. But once they started to find their flow, recognize where the gaps in the game were, and pull off a lot more of those physical plays, a lot more of those more embarrassing plays as well when you're looking at the opposing team, that started to make all the difference, and you start to get scared for Lewandowski and Modric moving forward as well, because Monty, we saw it in the last series, momentum on the side of Meatballs is a very hard role to stop.
It's a scary, scary thing if you're on the other side. If you're on our side, it's very exciting. We get to see these guys pop off as we did in Game 1. Forbidden Temple, it feels as though it's just every single time we go to this map, something amazing happens, something mechanical happens. Let's see if it can happen again in the GSL as Tekos looks to move this one down quickly. It's a double commit, could leave them vulnerable, but the Meatballs recover in time.
We'll see Devour now just trying to posture around this midfield. Tekos being a real big nuisance, has been in Game 1 as well, just throwing himself at these plays, trying to get in front of the 50s Guns. This one's just going to trickle its way all the way across. Nothing mechanical yet on Forbidden Temple, but it is a Meatballs jumping out to a well-assumed lead.
And it's an early start from the Prodigy South African. Took them some time to get into that first game. But like I alluded to just before kickoff, they started to find pace in the second half. And that is not stopping anytime soon. Guns is on for a hat-trick.
Speaking about pace, 110 Ks on this shot. I mean, it's again, you know, kind of unnecessary with the bump. Yeah, maybe we'll allow him the shot, but like, why do you have to go for the bump there? It's just rude. Someone didn't have that conversation they needed to have with the Meatballs in between game 1 and 2 because they've just continued on with this bully mentality.
No.
There's Guns! He's denied on the line!
What a save there from Chudo. Putting everything on the line there. Keeps them down 2, but this wide open net is going to allow Tekos to get the third. It is the hat trick denied for Guns, but I'm sure he's lingering and looking for it eventually. But, man, what a stand there from Chudo. You gotta take your hats off at times. Of course, you are playing the Meatballs, but you have to recognize the gumption to at least put up a fight against them.
Well, about to see the gumption. He's still gonna have that bit of hunger to get himself a hat trick, but none of Tekos gets there first. One high ball, one flip reset, one hit of the backboard, and it's 4-0.
He's hit it from so high up on the field there. Yeah, look, Cloudy with a chance of Meatballs from Tekos. And it's 4. It just seemingly does not stop, but it rains at pause for the Meatballs.
Devour coming off the backboard here to pick this one up. Guns play off the ceiling. It's looking to take it down. Chudo will 50 him there, but Tekos is just instantly behind him. It's this positioning for the Meatballs. I've talked about it a little bit, and we got to go back and talk about it some more. It's just they're always right where they need to be. This one, a little bit scary, a nice rundown, but Tekos able to navigate through both those demos well, and Guns almost looking for his hat trick there.
Oh, Chudo's faked away. Guns has gotten that 100 boost of a left wall. This is dangerous. Chudo's low. The flip reset is fair off the crossbar. Devour cleans it out wide, but it still doesn't escape the possession of the Meatballs. Guns is on that off angle. Isn't able to cut himself, so Tekos will take it. Devour is led away. That dummy run gave Tekos space, but the touch just isn't there off the ceiling. This will be sent down deep, and Chudo is gifted the first goal of the game.
Now they get something here. Lewandowski and Modric, they've broken down that meat wall from the Meatballs. And it's just in time, isn't it, really? They've got over half a game remaining, might be able to find something moving forward here. They probably want to find a second soon, just to make sure they've completely steadied the ship and they can continue on in this one. That's a great pass out to Devour. He'll have a strike, but he's hit it too high.
Oh, but look at that from Guns. It was a squishy save. He didn't get the connection, but he still managed to turn that into something. He gets the touch, following the ball all the way through. And what can you do there?
It's another unnecessary finish as well from a Meatballs player. Musty flick just for that extra sprinkle. That cherry on top. He had the head start for the hat trick. He'll be the first to reach. Guns for 4. Doesn't get the double tap, but Tekos has a decent lick of boost. Plays very aggressive to go for that 50. Guns hadn't had time to wrap behind, but now he's there. Saves it just off the post. Steals that boost away from Tekos. There's a bit of afters, but 0 boost. Devour looking to plant the pressure. It's inside to Chudo, but still not inside the net.
Guns takes this one up. Got a reset with the Musty as well. Does get bumped out to the width here. Tekos was in company. It's Guns again with another reset. Just looking to play with the food right now as Guns gets around the corner. Here is Tekos. Bit of boost to play with as well. Takes a 50 across the face of Gold. Devour in control now. Looking to go the other way, but I think it's gotten away from Chudo.
A lot of this cut first mentality here for Tekos. You can see Guns was, of course, in all regards, the man up for that ball, but Tekos is just always in the way. I don't know how he's doing these touches. Again, it's just so unnecessary, but I love it. I know that we needed to have a conversation with them, but why not? You're just showing the best that you have on display here on the pitch. It doesn't matter. It's insult to injury. It's putting fear into the heart of your opponent.
Tekos was just doing replay warm-up, trying to keep the ball moving as fast as possible while still in control. Guns deflects into his own net. Are we serious? Why? Just why? Money You asked at the beginning of this series, what's the expectation? And I said, if this was Freeze, Guns and Tekos would absolutely dominate. That is the 3v3 version of these two players.
And can we revisit this conversation about own goals?
And then he does what?
It's just,
Okay.
What is happening? This genuinely feels as though I'm dreaming.
This might be the most like SSA series I can talk about besides the own goal. But it's just a mix of everything to the point where you don't really know what's happening.
We
Guns
almost
is
missed
playing
this action
against
as well.
his own team.
We were all late to get ourselves into this game. They just wanted to rush into it, and I wasn't sure that was going to favour them. I'm not questioning that now. Tekos has just done a 360 no-scope control into the corner, beaten the first man. He zap-dashed into the ball, wall-dashed to keep it high.
Off
He's
the
bumped on the
ceiling.
play, stays involved.
Oh.
It's off the post. I thought it was in.
Oh my goodness, that would have been probably the play of the year if Tekos hit that. Guns is maybe looking for him. Tekos thought the pass was going to come across. Instead, it's just Guns trying to go solo for himself. Not really sure what's going on here. Maybe just trying to kill more of this clock. Tekos again. Another unnecessary play, but it is more precious seconds ticked off, and it will be another match point here as 7-2 is our final score.
I mean, someone get on the phone to Old School FaZe Clan because they are trick-shotting, as you said, on these guys. It has been so dominant. And it's only game 2. There's another game to go, by the way. It just feels nasty. It does not feel nice. It's just disrespectful. It's rude. It's disgusting. I don't like it, but I love it.
It's the best team in SSA. I mean, that performance sums up everything that this team is about. Devour is one of the most exciting prospects in the region. When it comes to picking your local player on the roster to pair with an import, Devour is like the best option. There really isn't many other names that I can think of off the top of my head other than the likes of Guns. And then you look at Shudo right next to him as that teammate. That's an extremely high-level, mechanical player to pair alongside him. This should be the perfect combo, but the best of the rest is still not enough for 5 Fears.
I mean, this team of Devour and Shudo, this is a team that anybody looking in on paper, you're saying, yeah, this is a top 4 team within the 2v2. I mean, you just look at the pure mechanics that this roster possesses, and then we get whatever that was between Guns and Tekos. I mean, it's like a car crash. You don't want to look, but you can't help but stare at us as you drive past. And as we hit game 3, it's time to see how more gruesome this car crash can get.
It has been ridiculous watching this series. Guns looking to go again. It's just, I mean, every word I said there, disrespectful, rude, disgusting. It is just outright. Every single thing I've said. It has absolutely been the way of this series so far. Tekos with an opportunity he's been denied.
Pass back goes to Guns off the corner. Tekos doesn't have the boost to force this one, but instead knows that Guns gets a pick for position for the respawn. Respawns in time with 100 boost. Keeps that ball planted down. Wants to take it over Devour. And Tekos have planted some seeds for the early jumps. The Guns just had to find the back of the net.
It might have been Kudo there that was looking to take that one around. Instead, though, it's going to be a little bit of some miscommunication on the side of the Meatballs. Devour gets a great cut there. And for the first time, we'll see Lou and Mod here taking a lead in this 2v2.
Yeah, they just get caught down with their pants down, playing with their meatballs on that occasion.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh. That's hard to follow up. Moving on.
Maybe we just go back to silence.
Maybe we should. Meatballs still need to grab a goal to get this one back. The Meatballs will want to make this result stick. I'm not following that. On you can go. It's a goal for Tekos.
It's a well-placed shot here for Tekos. Gun plays it around the corner. You can see nobody from Lewin Mod wants to challenge this one. It's awkward in net. The affair is over. One apiece.
They get themselves back into this one without any concern whatsoever. And I don't know what you guys are laughing about. It's serious business over here as things stand. Judo across the goal line. And Guns takes it off. I mean, what were you guys even laughing about? It just wasn't nice. Tekos, I mean, that is something to potentially laugh about. Guns on the follow-up. I mean, the Meatballs are just laughing right now with these type of plays.
These are such high-ranked opponents for Lewandowski and Modric. Judo is a peak 2,300 player in 2v2. The problem is, Tekos is peak 2,500 and has made deep runs even in EU RLCS. And when you have players of this caliber, they make everyone look like amateurs.
That's exactly what they're continuing to do here, Guns. Get some good possession, trying to pull the pants back up here for the Meatballs. It's across the Tekos. Shot is on, but it does sail a little bit too high off the woodwork. Counter-attack, and it's off the post. That was the best opportunity that Lewin Mod had since their first goal, and it's just blundered to the wayside, and Guns is going to make them pay for it.
They've absolutely, I mean, since day one, since day dot here, they got the Meatball rolling, and they have not stopped. It has been so good. And I mean, we haven't even seen half the game gone yet. The Meatballs, what can they provide? From this point, they just keep scoring better and better plays. They keep scoring disrespectful plays, but they haven't been taught a lesson. They've been told to keep going with the way they've done it, although, well, I hate to say it, but they've been caught with their pants down once more.
They certainly have. Devour pinches this one across. It's a decent little dot shot there from Judo. Keeps this game within one. It has been the closest game so far. Other Meatballs still the advantage. 3 in a row required, and that's going to be an even tougher job against Guns and Tekos. That kickoff, though, will certainly help their fortunes. Tekos manages to carry this one along the left-hand side. Guns is right underneath, is already up. You can hear the reset has been achieved there. Flicks over one, not going to be enough to break those lines. It's all Lewandowski and Modric again. Not quite having that finishing poise of the World Cup International.
Ooh, Guns, great play there. Gets it well navigated past 2. Unfortunately, though, Lewin Mod will be able to reestablish themselves back on defense, but you can feel Tekos is hungry. He is looking for another, just trying to get a little bit of a cushion and maybe put this game out of reach, because we still do have to recognize and respect the caliber of players that are on this Lewin Mod roster. It's not like it's just a walk in a park and casual play. You are playing some of RLCS's finest in SSA. Devour, good touch here into the corner, looking to get this one across to Judo, but it still just popped up and away.
Guns got to redirect down towards a danger area. Judo waiting for it, looking to equalize here off the counter. Tekos was the first one to react, pops it into the midfield. Devour is up, looked to set himself off the side wall, couldn't really make too much of it. Guns drops a dangerous position again, doesn't quite get around it. Might be able to get back to it here though. Guns does force the save.
These two are bullied the SSA region throughout the entire season. Well, that will certainly do it. Judo, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
No, we're not going back to the conversation of own goals. We will we will let that die.
Well, that's
incredible.
I mean, I don't understand. Off kickoff though, Tekos, he's just going to clean that up, add a little bit more insult to injury, and as this clock is now, well, a little bit under a minute, it doesn't seem like Lewin Mod have the answers to get themselves back into it.
Well, as soon as they scored the mate 4, they've scored the 5th as well. It's 5-2, minute remaining. It feels as though this game is out of reach and there's pretty much no way back in from Lewandowski and Modric.
Tekos high, and they'll be continuing to play that bully ball that I mentioned. They'll look to increase this scoreline as much as possible at this point. Who even know what net they'll be going for? We saw that musty flick into their own net beforehand. This time Tekos has remained front-facing, is beaten in this occasion. Judo is going to struggle to get this one straight on the target. It just rolls up that wall and it gives Guns and Tekos the space to get creative. It's going to be a coast-to-coast attempted. Judo's up early. It's a fantastic challenge to send this one into the corner. But it is the final 10 seconds of today's action for the Meatballs. Tekos doesn't quite make it 6. There's still a chance. Double flip reset. Space opens up. There it is for Guns. Another hat trick to add to the stat sheet.
Man, and Guns is just having a performance here today, running up that score line. Graybeard and I later, whenever we do put the 2v2s into the SSA stat sheet, this is going to be the outliers for sure. Ball remains stagnant here on the kickoff, and eventually Tekos will put them out of their misery. Game ends, and we will see our beautiful Meatballs heading into the upper bracket.
And can you explain why you just had that little giggle there? What was that in reference to?
No,
is there some American phrasing that we're not familiar with from other areas of the world? Or?
No, I recently went to IKEA and I had some of their meatballs.
Yeah?
So I think I was just reminiscing on that memory.
What was so funny about
I'm not sure why
them?
that's funny. Yeah.
It was just a good time.
Oh. Okay, I don't think I'll ask any more questions about that
let's move
anymore. But the Meatballs achieve their qualification into the top 6. I mean, was it ever in doubt? There was that brief moment in Game 1. Game 2 didn't start off the best either when we're talking about the first series of the day. But from there on out, it was, I mean, fight fears like we've seen for the rest of the season, just with one less player on the roster. Unfortunately, you have any combination of 2 out of those 3, you're going to get a pretty dominant side. And look, this was your taste of SSA over here, Moni. What have you got to say about Tekos and Guns after that day of action?
Look, when I posted to my Discord that I was going live with this, I went, I'm casting the best team in the region. This is going to be a lot of fun. And then we lose game 1. And I'm thinking,
yep.
Have I just absolutely biffed this? You know, have I done something wrong here? Have I told my viewers this is the best team and then we just aren't good whatsoever? But no, that was not the case. We were fantastic. We did exactly what we needed to do aside from game 1. And look, I mean, this has been a very good stream, I think. I've enjoyed the company. In particular, I've enjoyed the puns that we've made. And, you know, I just really appreciate that we can all come together and enjoy the moment and laugh about meatballs. So thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
And that's the beauty of this open era, especially with the 2v2. I mean, we're not seeing 5 fears represented. We're seeing the Meatballs represented. It allows the players that little bit of creativity, allows them to have some fun with it. And it also allows us to now know that the Meatballs are going to be a team within the top 8 for RLCS. We'll take just a quick look at how the rest of the bracket is shaping out. As you know, our nice, lovely 3-0, BTF, which is both Sweaty and Ravi, another top team within the region, have made themselves a nice 3-0 against Death Cloud. They'll be looking to play in the lower finals. There's still plenty of action in SSA, just not from us. And of course, we'll hop over to Group B as well, just so you can see how the rest of the scene is playing out. No conclusions as of yet, but keep a very close look at this SCR in black and white game. This is going to draw some major attention.
Yeah, this is Galaxy and Jeff on the side of SCR versus Zany and Chonkler, who haven't quite had the performances again that they were expecting in the 3v3 period, but are proving to be ones to look out for here in the 2v2 stage. Even if they do end up losing here in game 5, this is still an extremely impressive performance to bounce off of. But then You look at the opposite side of the coin. You've got Majanzi Ballers, which is snowy and to die for, playing against Synthesis, and they are so back. 2-0 versus Daps and Declan so far. There's a realistic chance that one will result in a sweep. That is easily going to be the other team to look out for if we're talking about who is going to be the champions of SSA 2v2. But of course, you cannot ignore that lower bracket either. There we go. Synthesis confirmed that upper lower final spot. Play one of either Bro Code or Good Kittens. That's a two-sided affair, as is the other lower semi-finals between White Monster and Jason Fan Club. I feel like the talent was definitely a lot more in Group A. However, my favourite names have definitely been here on Group B, that's for sure.
I've thoroughly enjoyed the names of these teams. I mean, that lower semi-final between Bro Code and Good Kittens might be one of the best series I've ever seen, and I haven't even watched a minute of the Rocket League gameplay.
Just some of the finest that SSA has to produce. So I believe that is all that we have here, though, for the Meatballs. They did roll on to the top 8. They'll be in playoffs. You'll see them tomorrow over on Great Beer GG for the main broadcast. That is a little bit of a plug. I'll see you there as well. But boys, what a day it has been.
Been an excellent day, and it's not over quite yet. There is going to be some more action later in the day over in North America. That one is still yet to be announced, but definitely one to look out for on the social spaces. But it was myself and Money to grant you the OCE action and the action over here in SSA. Borky, our resident SSA mainstream caster, will of course return to that very unofficial mainstream, it must be said, on the weekend over on the Greybeard channel. And who knows, you might see another familiar face there as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that was the end of this Redirect Esports broadcast. We hope that we gave you a little bit of a glimpse of what the top of SSA has to offer with Techos and guns. However, this is likely going to be a raid over to the Greybeard channel where some new local upcoming producing talent is going to be taking you through this GSL bracket. The herd will be called from top 16 to top 8. You talk about the very best. That is what the weekend is for. Ladies and gentlemen, I will certainly see you later for North America, but we better see you tomorrow as well for some more of the emerging region action. Goodbye.